You track the developmental milestones. You know what to look for at 2, 4, and 6 months.
But what if I told you there's a separate, more serious set of red flags that you should never see in your child at any age? These aren't about being a little late to roll over. These are signs that could point to a more serious issue that needs a specialist. And today, we're going to cover exactly what they are. And trying to figure this all out can feel so overwhelming. I'm Sarah, and I'm not a doctor. I'm a mom who's made it my mission to read all the studies and sift through the data so you don't have to. Welcome to our corner of evidence-based parenting. The reason this is so important to talk about is simple. When it comes to your child's development, the earlier you can identify a potential problem, the better the outcome will be. Early intervention often means the treatment required is far less intense and a lot shorter. So being proactive isn't about worrying, it's about being empowered. All right, the first and perhaps the trickiest red flag on our list is something called developmental regression. This is when your baby actually loses a skill they once had. Now, this is absolutely critical to distinguish from something completely normal called a skill pause. Think of your baby's brain like a powerful new computer. Sometimes, to learn a big, complicated new skill like crawling, it needs to divert all of its processing power to that task. So it might minimize the babbling program for a little while. Your baby who was cooing and making sounds all day might suddenly get a bit quiet. That's a skill pause. They're just focusing. Once they get the hang of crawling, the babbling program comes right back online, sometimes stronger than before. But with regression, it's different. It's not that the window is minimized. It's as if the program itself has been uninstalled. Imagine your baby could roll over beautifully at 5 months. Or they were able to sit up unassisted at 7 months, looking around the room so proud of themselves. And then, a few weeks later, they can't. They wobble, they struggle, the skill seems to have vanished. That is a major red flag, and it's something you should bring up with your pediatrician immediately. Have you ever noticed your baby temporarily pausing one skill while learning another? Like getting quiet while focusing on crawling? Share your story in the comments. It's such a fascinating part of their journey, and it can really help other parents understand the difference. Now, let's move on to the red flags that are extremely easy to overlook, especially in those first 6 months, because they can sometimes be mistaken for just normal baby stuff. We'll start with hearing. An undetected hearing issue can have a domino effect on everything from speech and communication to social development. So here is a quick at-home checklist you can be mindful of. First up, hearing issues. From birth to 4 months, a baby should startle at loud, sudden sounds. If you drop a book and they don't flinch, or if they don't seem to quiet down or try to locate a familiar sound like your voice, that's something to note. Next, from 4 to 8 months, they should be engaging with you. Do they smile or babble back when you talk to them? That back and forth is a key part of communication. And finally, from 8 to 12 months, they should start responding to their own name and trying to mimic sounds they hear. If you call their name and get no response, or if they're not trying to copy your ba-ba or da-da sounds, it's worth a conversation with your doctor. Okay, the next major physical red flag is vision issues. After about 3 months of age, your baby should be able to follow a moving object, like your face or a colorful toy, with their eyes. If you move side to side and their gaze doesn't follow you, that's a red flag. And here's a big one. After 4 months of age, their eyes should be coordinated. They should work together as a team, pointing in the same direction. If you notice their eyes are consistently not aligned, or if one or both eyes seem to wander randomly or move rapidly all the time, this is a sign that needs to be checked out by a professional. Okay, take a deep breath. I know that was a lot of information, but before we go any further, I need to talk about that last point, because there is one thing that sends parents into a panic that is actually totally normal. So many parents see their tiny 2 or 3 month old baby and notice that sometimes their eyes aren't perfectly aligned. One might drift out for a second. It's easy to see that and immediately think something is wrong. But let me reassure you, in the first few months of life, this is totally normal. Their eye muscles are still strengthening and learning to work together. It's like they're still calibrating. The real red flag is only if this persists after 4 months of age. By then, that coordination should be locked in. So if you're seeing it in your newborn, you can probably relax. If you're still seeing it in your 5-month-old, it's time to make a call. All right, our next major physical red flag is physical asymmetry. This means there's a noticeable, persistent difference in strength, movement, or even muscle tone between the left and right sides of your baby's body. Their bodies should generally be symmetrical in how they move. So, what does this look like? It could be a baby who consistently favors one hand for reaching, even for a toy that's on their other side.
Or maybe they only ever roll over to their left side, but never their right. Or when you hold them, you might notice that one arm or leg feels significantly tighter or looser than the other. Any consistent, one-sided pattern of movement or strength is a red flag and warrants a discussion with your pediatrician. So, to quickly summarize, the serious red flags to watch for at any age are 1. Developmental regression, or the loss of a skill. 2. Hearing issues. 3. Vision issues. And 4. Physical asymmetry. And that brings us to the 5th and final red flag, significantly missing milestones. Now, I know that every baby develops at their own pace. There is a huge range of normal. The window for walking, for example, is enormous, anywhere from about 10 to 18 months.
But these windows exist for a reason, and they are based on decades of research. If your child is consistently failing to reach key milestones within those broad, accepted timeframes, that in itself is a red flag. It's a signal that something might be getting in the way of their natural development, and it's always, always worth getting it checked out. You don't need to memorize every single milestone. The goal here is awareness, not anxiety. To make it easy, I have videos on the specific red flags for 6 and 12 months, which you can watch next. If this was helpful, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.
A like and a save also helps more parents find this information, and I would be so grateful.